Hey there, this is Logan Crockett with Full Circle Music. I am coming to you from our recording studios here in Nashville, Tennessee, and we are here today to answer your questions about the music industry. So you guys asked, how exactly do you promote your music? What are the best strategies? Well, I've got an answer for you. So my first question would be, do you have money? Do you have some sort of budget to throw at this? If you do, there are definitely a lot of great advertising strategies, PR strategies. You can pay to go on tour with someone. There's a lot of things that you can do with money. Money is basically value, and paying for something is exchanging value. So money is definitely a really great way to do a lot of great things as far as promoting your music. But I am assuming that the majority of people watching this video are probably on the low budget to $0 budget side of things. So I'm going to address some music marketing strategies from that angle. So the first thing that you want to think about if you don't really have much of a budget at all, but you really want to promote your music, is that you want to partner with others. Go beyond yourself. If you are starting off and you don't really have any sort of a platform that has a following, then the best thing that you can do is attempt to leverage other platforms that do have followings. And so, as a few examples, maybe there's some sort of nonprofit or ministry or something like that in your area that just promotes some sort of good cause, and maybe you have some positive music or something that specifically aligns with that cause, or maybe you could write a song that actually speaks to that mission or something along those lines. And maybe you could literally create that song for a video of theirs, or maybe you could do some sort of interview on one of their social channels or YouTube, talking about what you're doing and how it aligns with them. Or maybe you could perform at some sort of event that they're doing. But there's a lot of times when causes and platforms like that can align really, really well with music, and leveraging those can be a great way to offer some value to someone else who has a platform for free. There's another side, which is, I mentioned ministries before in what I was just talking about, but you can go straight into that path and partner with churches. I know a lot of people who, especially if they're more into the worship or CCM scene, but even in all kinds of genres, a lot of people do get their start musically in churches. And churches, if you're already a part of some sort of local church or some sort of place of worship, then just being a part of that worship team can definitely be great. Starting a community that's songwriting together, doing anything like that, it can be really, really powerful. But then if you kind of flesh that out a little bit, the next thing I would recommend would be kind of branching out and seeing what other churches in the area might be grateful for someone to lead some really great music on a Sunday morning, for instance. There are a whole lot of churches out there, and a lot of them really do, especially the smaller ones. So sometimes they don't have amazing options for bringing in people to lead worship. And so if your music is appropriate in that kind of setting, then that can definitely be a great way to just provide value for them, and vice versa. It's typically churches can be a place to get in front of a lot of people. And from there, obviously, the more people you're in front of, the more people who know about you, can learn about your music, etc. So churches can be great. And then, are there like YouTubers or social media influencers, anyone in that kind of world that you know? I would encourage you, a lot of people, especially people my age, if you look at your Facebook profile, most people have over 1,000 friends, some people over 2,000, and realistically, human beings cannot keep up with that many people. That said, if you actually scroll through some of those people you first met 10 years ago and you're not really in contact with them anymore, you might be really surprised what some people are actually up to these days. And you can also use tools and resources like LinkedIn, where you can kind of see if you're connected with someone who might be connected to an influencer, anything like that. But the point is, you just might be surprised who in your network or who you might be able to have access to actually does have a really big following. And maybe it's not in music. Maybe they're doing something really big in fashion, or maybe they're a comedian, maybe they're a huge YouTuber, anything at all like that. Or maybe they're really big on TikTok. Whatever the case is, if you can, especially if they're not a musician, partner with them. Write a song, make it a comedy song, or just make it something that they can use. A lot of people love music. For a lot of people, music is very valuable, especially if it's like customized just for what they're doing. So that kind of thing, social media influencer or a big YouTuber, if you have any of those in your network, partnering with them can be really great. And then lastly, of course, there are music artists. You can tour with other music artists, especially if you're starting off. You're not going to be on big tours at first, but there are a lot of smaller bands and artists who tour around the country and have decent sized shows, but they are just always looking for other musicians to tour with. And so if you find some of those smaller artists that are touring really, really well, it might be worth seeing if you can hook up with one of them and either play a few of those shows with them or catch a whole tour with them. That can be a really, really great way to get the news about what you're doing out there. But you could also see maybe you could do a collab, especially if your music is awesome and their music is awesome and you guys believe in each other. Then you guys could maybe like feature each other on each other's records and that kind of thing. So yeah, or YouTube collabs, social media collabs, doing some sort of Facebook Live or doing a cover together, anything at all like that. Can definitely be a great way for you to get in front of their audience and for them to get in front of your audience. So that can work really well. And the second strategy that I have for you that is going off pretty much of zero budget is using social media growth strategies. Now, hear me when I say this. This is definitely different than what most people think about when it comes to social media. A lot of people think, oh, social media is free and I can just get on there and create an account and just post some stuff about my music or whatever, and eventually it'll just grow like crazy. And that is hardly ever the case. What a lot of people forget, they see an account that kind of seemingly blew up overnight. But the truth is, with most social media accounts, they don't grow internally, they grow externally. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So a lot of times social media grows because maybe you were featured on some sort of article or in some sort of TV show interview or on the news or something like that. Maybe you just got off of a huge tour. Maybe you just had a big radio promotion. Maybe you ran a bunch of ads. Things like that can cause new people to become aware of you, and if they like what they hear or see or whatever, then there's a good chance that they might follow you on social media. So a lot of social media growth doesn't happen because, for instance, let's take Instagram. A lot of growth on Instagram doesn't happen because of necessarily using the right hashtags and posting the best content ever. A lot of growth happens because you did something somewhere else, and wherever else you did that thing, now people are discovering you and now they're following you on these social media platforms. So that is oftentimes how social media growth works, and a lot of people forget that, and a lot of people just assume that it all happened from the system. They see someone grow from 0 to 100,000 followers, and they assume that all happened because they did something magical on that social media platform. But normally social media growth happens externally, not internally. That said, there are internal ways to make social media grow. You can use, again, for instance, Instagram. You can use specific Instagram tactics to grow your Instagram. It just takes a lot more work than, quote, the average person growing on Instagram, because those average people might be growing more externally. If your mission is to grow internally, especially internally for free, just using something like Instagram, it's quite possible, but you just need to really know what you're doing. You're not just going to guess your way through that kind of thing. You need specific strategies. And the way to get those specific strategies would be literally to do research. I would definitely encourage to look up on YouTube, whatever social media platform it is, whether it's Twitter growth strategies or YouTube growth strategies. Just search that out on YouTube, search out articles on Google, read a lot, research a lot, hours and hours of research. And then that way, a lot of these ideas can kind of get funneling through your head. And then you can decide for yourself which are the best strategies to follow, because quite frankly, there's a lot of strategies out there that just simply won't work. Or, anyone can post anything on the internet, and you never know if it really worked as well as they're kind of making it out to be, or maybe it's just an idea that they have. Or maybe, it could just be flat out false for whatever reason. Or maybe it worked in a specific kind of market, a specific kind of industry. Maybe like an automotive, something worked in the automotive industry or in the health industry. That might not work for music in the same way. So just read, research, do a whole lot of that, and then come to the conclusion yourself on what specific strategies seem like they work well and which ones you want to pursue. And from there, you have a real shot at growing social media internally. It's just, again, you have to put in a whole lot of work. Lastly, the big number 3 for promoting music, especially again on a $0 or very low budget, would be using what we call a funnel strategy. A funnel is a very, very common marketing term, but I know just a lot of musicians and a lot of people just out there aren't really familiar with what funnels are. And really, to kind of break down the strategy, it's just something where you help new people discover you, and then you use marketing automation tools to automatically create relationships with these people overnight, where you're not really doing any of the direct work, but these automated tools are kind of feeding them information that keeps a relationship growing. It's really, really, really powerful. And once you actually have a relationship with that new audience, then you can actually make revenue. You can sell them things and use really great sales strategies to actually make money from your music. And if you're not living on that money, then you can use that money to reinvest back into your music career, which is how you actually pay for things when it comes to music. So the funnel strategy is definitely something that I highly recommend. It's not taught by a whole lot of people. There's a few exceptions and a few people who teach this kind of thing out there. But yeah, because it's not really that widely known, and because it's still a mystery for a lot of people, we've really done a lot with the funnel strategy here at Full Circle Music. And it really isn't too complicated, but it can help to have some explanation, some hand-holding. And so we do actually have a marketing course that we've created that primarily teaches this funnel strategy that I'm talking about. And you can go ahead and find that course down in the description below if you would like to have us help you implement a funnel strategy. All right, thanks for watching. If you learned something, if this video was helpful to you, we really would appreciate it if you would go down there and hit that like button. It's super quick, super easy, super simple, and it does make us more friendly with the YouTube, so that would be awesome. But more importantly, we're actually doing a whole lot more videos just like this one, where we are answering the internet's top questions about the music industry. And so if you aren't subscribed to our channel and it sounds like you would love to hear our answers to some other questions, then please subscribe so that way you don't miss those. Also, speaking of questions, if you have any more questions, maybe there was something you weren't sure about regarding this video, or you're wondering about a completely different topic in the music industry, go ahead, go down to that comment section and write your question and let us know what's up, and we would be happy to get back to you and answer that, or maybe even make a future video about it. The last thing that I want to let you know is that at Full Circle Music, our team has created an awesome resource for you, totally free, and it's just a free mini training class that teaches you exactly what to do if you really want to have a career in the music industry. So if you would like to check out that free class, and again, it's totally for free, you can click right over here, and if you click on that button, then you should get immediate access to that class, and that would be really cool. Or if you would rather go and check out another video that answers a top question about the music industry, you can do that by clicking right up there.